Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays live with me, Chase Lee. And if you're watching this live, you can do so and comment the place up on my face, and you can let me know what are your favorite. Hey, Marky Mark, how's it going over there? Oh, you know there's going to be a shit ton of this. So, but before I begin into the episode, last week I did this by myself, and a certain friend of mine saw the episode, and he had a lot of ideas and suggestions for weeks in advance. Like, I'm talking like until August. So I basically just told him to come on as a co-host. Because, listen, I'm sure you guys loved me talking about Pixar movies last week by myself and me going crazy talking to myself. But I think it's better to have someone with you to counteract your list with, because we're not going to have the same list. And that's the thing. You hire on a co-host. I don't ask Brian what his list is. He doesn't ask me what mine is. It's a complete surprise every single week. So I brought on Brian Sudfield, and he's been on my podcast numerous times. So, Brian, go ahead and say hi to the peeps out there.
Hello, people who's ever watching, and yeah, hi.
He is he's going to be on this thing, so get used to it, folks. He's here to stay. He might kick me off of my own show. So, Ted 2 is coming out this Friday, and that will be the podcast for tomorrow on Real Me and Colin Movie Podcast. I'm going to have my review of Ted 2. So, what better way to honor Ted 2 than go over our top 5 Marky Mark movies, man? It's Mark fucking Wahlberg. And you guys know it. Like, my impression of him tells you how much love I have for this guy. He's one of the greats. I mean, Brian, what do you think about the good old Wahlberg, man?
The good old Marky Mark, he's awesome. I mean, he's so good to watch on screen. Like, he does every genre pretty well. Like, we've seen him do comedy, drama, action, thriller, video games. We see him do a lot of stuff, and he's a pretty awesome person to watch on screen. I mean, say what you want about him, but he's great. He's great. And of course, his voice, like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Like, it's, of course, he's so entertaining to watch on screen. Even if the movie's crap, he's still awesome to watch on screen.
Exactly. He brings it in every single movie. And just before we begin, if you guys hear any clanking or shit going on my roof, there's people up there, so get ready for that. Anyways, the cool thing about Wahlberg is he's a versatile actor. He literally does everything. He has done drama. He has done horror, I guess. He's done comedy. Like, he's done just about everything. And he's dove into, like, some really interesting roles. So let's get this started. Brian, I want you to name, or do you want to do honorable mentions first or last?
Honorable mentions first.
Okay. So, how many do you have on your list?
I have 5. I have 5 of them.
Okay. So briefly, real quick, just give me your honorable mentions, and this is going to be interesting because whatever you say list, I'm going to have to, like, do some mental marking. So, what are some of your honorable mentions for Mark Wahlberg?
I Heart Huckabees.
Okay.
Good movie. David O. Russell. The Other Guys, hilarious movie with him and Will Ferrell.
Okay.
Lone Survivor. I didn't love it like a lot of people my age did, but I still thought it was a very good movie. Wahlberg was great in the movie. Basketball Diaries, an early movie he did with Leo DeCaps. And Invincible, another sports movie he did.
Interesting. Okay. Honorable mention for me. I have Italian Job, because I think it's a pretty fun little heist movie. My favorite line is from Edward Norton. Where the fuck is my truck? Like, when I saw that in theaters, I was like, this, my friends, is the quote of the movie right there. Where the fuck is my truck? The Perfect Storm. I think it's a pretty cool little disaster film with him and the Kloonster. The Other Guys, I didn't put it on my list. It's a pretty funny movie. Like, it was between this and another one. I think you know which one I put on there. The Fighter. That's some honorable mention. It's not on the list. And then, of course, The Happening. Because it's so funny and so entertaining. Like, ma'am, no. Like, come on. It's like one of the best, like, bad movies ever made. And, like, him and Zooey Deschanel, they just shit the bed on that one. But it wasn't their fault. It was M. Night Shyamalan's fault. So, and then Four Brothers, I did not put on my list, even though I really, really like it. Because you know what's really interesting about Wahlberg is I found out that all of his movies, all of them except for like maybe 2, he is not he's in a ensemble cast. Like, he's good in everything, but he's more of an ensemble actor where he's actually supported by just as great of talent as him. But like Max Payne, he's like basically the only one, or like Shooter, he's basically the only one. But like everything else, he's got a supporting cast around him. So I found that kind of interesting. So let's jump into this, man. Let's fucking do this. So Brian, what is your number 5 pick?
My number 5 Mark Wahlberg movie is Three Kings.
Wow, going old school.
I really like Three Kings a lot. I mean, him, Clooney, Ice Cube, Spike Jonze, another David O. Russell film. It's a really fun movie. It's a really, for what it is, it's a pretty damn good movie. I mean, it's not incredible, but it's a really interesting movie. It has like a very high rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which to me is deserving, but not as deserving as some other films we'll talk about later on.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. Wahlberg is really good. Clooney's great, of course. Ice Cube was surprisingly very good in this movie. It's a really good movie, and if you haven't seen it, if you love David O. Russell, you should probably check this movie out.
I haven't seen Three Kings, but I mean, I've heard it's like a fun movie. So that's why I couldn't put it anywhere on my list, because I mean, there's several movies that he's done in his resume that I could not put on here because I have not seen. So that was one of them. That's interesting. I'm gonna counteract with your fun action movie with my favorite comedy he's done, which is Ted. Ted is my number 5. Now listen, I had it pinned as Ted versus the other guys because his whole resume, he doesn't have many comedies. But Ted, like, listen, he's got great chemistry with Will Ferrell, but the chemistry with Seth MacFarlane is outright insane because the accent you have on MacFarlane and then you have Wahlberg's accent, it's like going into a Boston tea shop and like having two people argue. Like that's what the whole movie's like. But he's actually he's got good comedic chops, and I just, it's such a hilarious movie. There's really nothing more to say. It's just it's a buddy stoner movie, and he's great in it. But you know what I'm saying, like, he's actually better with the supporting cast and stuff. I mean, yeah, this is Seth MacFarlane's movie, and Ted is the main character, but Mark Wahlberg still adds his comedic chops to each scene with Ted, and it just makes it even funnier with their banter back and forth and their improv. So that is my number 5 is Ted. I had to put at least one comedy on there. Come on, you can't dog him too much. So, Brian, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is a movie you brought up earlier, and that is The Italian Job.
Yeah.
I really like The Italian Job a lot. I actually just saw it a few months ago. I wasn't really doing anything. I never saw it, and yet I was ashamed of myself because I love the cast. Wahlberg, Edward Norton, Charlize Theron, Donald Sutherland. Like, the cast is so good. And F. Gary directed the movie. He's going to direct the upcoming Straight Outta Compton. This is a really energetic and fun thriller, action movie, heist movie, whatever you want to call it. Edward Norton, in my opinion, steals the entire movie. Like, I love that man in that movie. Wahlberg is really good to watch on screen too. It's just a really, like Three Kings, it's a lot of fun. Like, it's so much fun. If you know what you're getting into, you're going to have a good time. If you don't like these kinds of movies, then you wouldn't like this movie. But it's so much fun because all the characters work together so well, and their chemistry was really good. The action sequences were very well done. It's just a really fun movie. Like, it's so much fun. I could watch it countless times, to be quite honest.
Well, what's really interesting is, like, I like the original. I really do.
I never saw the original, so
it's a fun movie, and it's one of the better heist films in history. And this one is not a bad remake. Like, a lot of people give it so much shit. I don't know why. It's a fun movie. It's like you said, the cast is great. Like, when you have Wahlberg, Theron, Statham, Seth Green, like, going back and forth, that's such a weird combination, but it works. It's like Boston, hot, British, and short comedian. So it's like, what the hell were they smoking when they cast this movie? But no, I remember watching that movie in theaters, and I just, you're right. The action sequences are fantastically done. Like, my favorite scene is like the whole chase scene with the Mini Coopers. It's great because, like, they're going through fucking sewers and shit. It's great. So yeah, that's a really good one. So I give you props on that one for putting it on your list. So number 4 for me, The Basketball Diaries. Now listen, there's only 3 films in my life that I've seen that deal with addiction very well. One I just saw, Heaven Knows What. Another one, Requiem for a Dream. And then this one, Basketball Diaries. I think this is like, it's one of the best movies about addiction. The best movies about addiction or drug addiction or whatever, they really like get into the psyche of characters, and they show the devastation and the nightmare it causes physically, emotionally, whatever. And the Basketball Diaries does it. Yeah, is he the main character? No, but I mean, like, him going along DiCaprio, I mean, they have great chemistry as, you know, the friends in the movie and stuff. So it's just it's a really great supporting role. So I think out of all the ones on my list, this is the one he's just like a really good supporting role. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to say, man. It's just a great movie about addiction, and it's super hard to watch. Like, it's like a Requiem for a Dream where you sit there and you cringe and you're just like, oh, why life? So, yeah, and then, of course, you'll see later on my list, there's another Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg movie. So that is my pick for number 4. Brian, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is your number 5, and that is Ted.
Oh, wow, you put it higher. Wow.
Well, it's my second favorite comedy of the decade so far, behind 21 Jump Street. Like, I saw Ted opening night in the theater. It was a great time. I laughed my ass off. Like, I just couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I loved Seth MacFarlane. Like, I mean, at that time, like, Family Guy was like one of my favorite things ever. But then as time went by, I'm like, ugh, Family Guy is just ugh. But no, his humor was so good. Wahlberg was so good in this movie. Like, he proved in the other guys that he could do comedy very well. But this movie, he knocks his role out of the park. And when you see Ted 2, like, he still knocks his role out of the park. His chemistry with Seth MacFarlane, even though it's just a CGI bear, is so freaking good. Like, Ted is so much
believable. That's the word. It's believable. You feel like Wahlberg owns a fucking teddy bear and he's talking to it.
Yeah, like, it's so much fun. And I mean, of course, like, jealousy when he gets Mila Kunis. I mean, like, jealousy. Like, Mark Wahlberg getting Mila Kunis, jealous.
He's the man. He's the fucking
I know.
So yeah, that's your number 3. That's interesting.
Yeah, like, it's such a fun movie. Like, it's so entertaining. Like, when a comedy movie makes me laugh a lot, then it's great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't do its job. And Ted made me laugh from beginning to end, and that's why it's my second favorite comedy film of the decade so far.
I'm only going to assume that you have the same trouble as I did back in 2012 and went back and forth on what was the best comedy of that year, 21 Jump Street or Ted. Like, seriously, it could be a fucking toss on that, because, like, they were both great, but you go, like, oh, maybe it was Ted, and then you're feeling 21 Jump Street more. And I think you're right. Ted is one of the better ones of the 2010s so far. I would also put This Is the End up there. It's
definitely
that one's gonna be a cult classic. I've been telling that for years. I'm telling you, like, 10 years down the line, people are gonna be raving about this movie, and it's like, I raved about it when it came out. Like, it's gonna be one of those comedies that people are gonna remember, especially when we look back and we look back on the time where we all freaked out in 2012 because we thought the world was gonna end. So it's gonna be one of those cult classic movies for sure. So my number 3 was one of your honorable mentions. Would you like to take a guess as to which one it is?
I can't do it.
Okay. Lone Survivor.
That high? Really?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. You could put it wherever you want.
I mean, if you want to argue about it,
No, it's fine.
Throw it down. Sure. No, listen, Peter Berg has been kind of a hit or miss. And, you know, when you're coming off of Battleship, listen, this is like gold compared to that. And not only that, it's actually a pretty good war story. You want to talk about fantastic actors in one movie? This is probably one of the better casts that he's ever been a part of. I love Ben Foster. I love Emile Hirsch. And yeah, I even like Taylor Kitsch. It's just he's been in shitty movies. So when you have those 4 guys, and I felt the realism of it. That's what I really liked about it. I felt the grittiness. I felt the raw intensity of that movie. And I think Peter Berg totally flipped, our thoughts about him after we see this movie, because it's like, this is the same guy that did Battleship? There's no fucking way. So when you watch the movie, like, it's just a really good survival story. That's all it is. It's a really good story. It's based on a real person that Wahlberg portrayed very, very well, actually. It's just a really good, cat and mouse game where like they're trying to survive from, the enemy. And I think it's one of the better ones. And what's really funny is like I've never said this about anything as of late, but he's got one of the best sound designs I've heard in the movie in a long time. Like if you watch the movie, you feel like when they're falling down a hill, you can feel the bones breaking. Like you can feel them running. You can feel the gun shoot with the reverb coming off the gun going.
They gave me the chills.
Exactly. It's one of the better, more like submersive war movies, just because of the sound design. It's that intense, and I think he really brings the humanity to his character. And when you have a supporting cast like that, it's great because Ben Foster is my boy. I've always loved him. I've always wanted him to be in more stuff, and I kind of want to see him and Wahlberg go at it again in another movie. I don't care what it is. I don't care what the fucking script is. That needs to happen. So Lone Survivor for me, for the sheer fact that it was a huge step up from Battleship. And number two, he has great chemistry with all four of those guys, and it's a great survival movie. It's super raw and really intense. So that's my number three. Brian, what is your number two?
Number two. This was really tough. I was going back and forth with this one and my number one, but number one came out in the year where I realized that was my year where I loved film so much. So my number two is The Departed, or as I like to call it, The Departed. Okay, The Departed is it's my second favorite Scorsese film behind Goodfellas. It's my second favorite Mark Wahlberg movie. It might be my favorite DiCaprio movie. I have no idea, but
what?
I don't know. I love The Departed. It's so engaging. I can watch this movie over and over again, despite it being like almost 3 hours long. Like it's such a great movie. Even though Wahlberg wasn't my favorite. Actually, it's so tough when you think of your favorite performance in this movie. But Wahlberg was so damn great in this movie. I mean, he got his first Oscar nomination for this movie. Like he had so many great one-liners in this movie. Like he was such a scene stealer, and like every scene he was in, like it was great. One of my favorite moments with him was when he and Martin Sheen encounter Frank Costello, played by Jack Nicholson, and Wahlberg's like, I can't wait to wipe that fucking smile off your face. And then Jack Nicholson's like, wouldn't you rather wipe my ass? Like it's like I love Wahlberg in this movie. I mean, yeah, he's insane as fuck in this movie. Like, he is fucking insane. But he is so damn great in this movie. I love The Departed. I love it. It's a great movie. Just love it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And my number two is The Departed. It's great, man. Like, because it goes back to the whole supporting cast thing. When you have DiCaprio and you have Matt Damon and Jack Nicholson, that's like the perfect, cop movie set in that setting. Like Mark Wahlberg looks like a Boston cop. He does. And when you have his like accent and everything, it works. It looks like if he was not going to be an actor, this is what he would probably go in, because he looks like a fucking cop. He does. And this movie is no different. And what you're saying about watching this numerous times and never gets old, you're right. The one thing I like about Scorsese films is that they're always fast paced. Like, look at The Wolf of Wall Street, prime example. Fucker's almost 3 hours long, but you never feel it drag because you're so engaged into it. It's the same way with Goodfellas, everything he's done. You are so engaged in what's happening, and the characters are so interesting, and their dialogue back and forth is really riveting to where like the time never drags in these movies. And you're right, Wahlberg has he has the wittiest character in the entire movie. He's always firing back from one-liners, and it's like, I'm pretty sure this is how he would act in real life. So yeah, no, The Departed is a really great movie. I have not, now listen, full disclosure, I have not seen the movie it's based off of.
Same here.
Everyone says that it's a pretty good cop thriller or whatever, so I'll have to check it. It's Inferno Affairs. That's what.
Isn't that like John Campia's favorite movie or something? He always brought that movie up.
I'm sorry. This is not the show where we gloat other people.
Wow, Chase.
Oh, sorry.
Well, we're glowing Mark Wahlberg, so.
I mean, listen, it's Campia. He's no. Just stop, Brian. We don't. Do you want people to watch this and be like, "Oh God, another group mentioning AMC again"? We don't need that. All right. So the Departed,
The Patty.
fucking wicked Kyle over there. You fuck. You rat fuck. I'm telling you, man. Like, no, that's a perfect setting for him. Ooh, that's actually a good question. You said that was behind Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Ooh. I didn't rehearse this with Brian, so I'm gonna try to do this at the top of my head. I wouldn't even put Departed in my top 5 Scorsese movies.
Really?
I wouldn't. In no particular order, I would put Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, and Casino over The Departed. But that just shows you how great Scorsese is that all of his movies are great, and there's really no ranking. It's like they're all just good. Like even his underrated ones, like King of Comedy and oh shit, oh my god, what was the one that he did with the? Do you remember the one with the guy? It goes throughout the entire night, and it's kind of like an event movie where it's like he goes from this place to this place. Oh my god! After Hours.
I never saw that one.
It's a really good one. It's a very underrated one. So yeah, no, he's just the type of director to where everything's great. But yeah, if
I can be a little nitpicky on some of his films, but
it's hard for me to do that. I have so much fun with all of his movies. I even like Hugo. So
I think Hugo's overrated personally. I'm sorry.
I
think it is. It's a good movie, but like it's not incredible.
But the thing is, like, you're right. It's a good movie, but I'm not going to praise it, and I'm not going to put it in, even the top 10 of Scorsese. But hey, listen, as an attempt to make a kids film, I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did do a pretty good job.
Yeah, he strayed himself away from his hard R persona, so he did pretty good. All right, so this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 picks. Now, I told Brian before we started filming this thing, this has been my number 1 ever since I saw it when I was in middle school. It always has been. It always will be, unless he does a role that can top this one. I don't think he will, because it's with one of the best directors working today. It's got one of the best casts ever assembled. But I'm not going to tell you just yet. Brian's going to go first. Brian, go ahead and hype yours up, and we're going to have a battle.
Okay. My number 1 Mark Wahlberg film is The Fighter.
Wow.
I know you're shocked. I know.
Oh,
okay.
No,
listen, here's the deal. 2010 was such a great year for film that it got me into my love for film. Like, I mean, you had The Fighter, 127 Hours, Toy Story 3, The Social Network, Black Swan. Like, that was a great year for movies. The Fighter was a movie that I just love the story so much. I love how him and Christian Bale played brothers. Mark Wahlberg's a boxer. Mickey Ward was trying to be great, but then he's got to deal with his drug-addicted brother, Dickie, played by Christian Bale. It's a great movie. It's a great story, and I really love it. I mean, it's not, like, to me, Wahlberg's best performance is in The Departed, but this is my personal favorite Wahlberg film, personally. I know, you're probably going to disagree with me on that, but, like, Wahlberg was really good in this one. And the thing, it saddens me that he was not nominated for an Oscar, because every other person was nominated for the Oscar. Bale deserving, Melissa Leo deserving, Amy Adams great in the movie, but deserved it over Mark Wahlberg. Come on, Academy, what the hell? But like, he didn't give my favorite performance. My favorite performance was hands down Christian Bale. Christian Bale, you have to admit it, that Christian Bale was fucking incredible in this movie. You have to admit it.
Oh, no, listen, I'm not dogging on your movie. I'm just dogging your choice because I think, me personally, mine's a superior film. But,
well, I still haven't seen it. Which
is very upsetting.
I agree. That's like the only film by the director that I haven't even seen, and his most recent one too. So I have two films to see, and then that's it. But like I do like It's a great movie. I mean, for all I know, when I see your number one, it could change. But as of right now, The Departed's my favorite Mark Wahlberg movie.
Brian.
I'm sorry. Okay?
All right. So let's give a little backstory. Brian, I want you. Well, I'll tell my story because I think Brian knows what my number one is. Brian, go ahead and tell people what my number one is.
Chase's number one is Boogie Nights.
You're damn straight, son. All right, so here is a little story about this movie. Now, this movie came out in pulled up the year 97. So I was 7 years old. Obviously, I could not see R-rated movies at that time. So I think I saw it in middle school. Someone lent me a copy of it. And this was before like I had appreciation for film and stuff. And I really just wanted to see Heather Graham's tits. I'm going to be honest with you. So I got the movie and I enjoyed it. I was like, well, that was kind of fun. Heather Graham's titties were really great. That's what I sounded like at 12. But like as and then I met one of my good friends, Martin Graham, in film school, and he basically opened me up to PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson. And he was like, yeah, he did Boogie Nights, Magnolia, There Will Be Blood, Hard Eight. Like, this guy is like amazing at what he does. And I was like, okay, let me check out his stuff. And I think at that point I did like a marathon. I marathon like Hard Eight, Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is like one of the best writer-directors in the industry right now. And so I rewatched Boogie Nights, and I still enjoy her tits. But it's still a great movie. Like, it's one of the best movies about the porn industry I've ever seen in my life. And, you have a supporting cast like William H. Macy, Burt fucking Reynolds, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, Julianne Moore. Like PTA is the type of director where he will take some of the best actors in the world and he will put them in his universe and they will crush it. So what is this movie about? He plays Brian, The Fighter might be your number one, but you have to agree with me that this is the best character name.
I'm aware of his name.
It's Dirk Diggler. Like, that has got to be one of the best porn names and one of the best character names in the movie is Dirk Diggler. So he plays like he's a dishwasher and he gets noticed by Burt Reynolds and he's basically thrown into the porn industry because of his big dick. I mean, that's basically the story. But we see the trials of, starting from the bottom now, but here. So he starts off at the bottom and he becomes this big porn star and, the fame and the ego goes to his head and he wants, a lot of money, he does a lot of drugs, and he basically just spirals out of control. And it's a really, neat story. But here's the thing. I'm not going to tell Brian how it ends. He just needs to watch it. And when you watch the last shot of it, you're going to be like, okay. Like, that's what you're going to say. It's like, that was a great movie. And the last shot, I was like, okay. One of the best lines in the movie, he gets really frustrated in a scene that he's filming, and he goes up to Burt Reynolds, who's directing it, and he's like, I just want to fuck. It's my fucking big dick. Who wants to fuck? Like, he goes like crazy. He's like, I just want to fuck, man. Who wants to fuck my big dick? Having Mark Wahlberg in his accent say, who wants to fuck my big dick, is one of the funniest lines he's ever uttered. But like I said, the whole point of this episode was to do Mark Wahlberg. And I said at the beginning that, like, he's a great actor in an ensemble cast. You look at the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's great in this role. Look at William H. Macy's character is devastating. And there's a point where his character takes, like, the darkest turn. And it's like, okay, then. Julianne Moore is really fascinating to watch, and so is Burt Reynolds. But it's Mark Wahlberg, man. He plays the porn star with the big dick, Dirk Diggler. And, yeah, you can look at it and you can scoff at it. Like, it's about the porn industry. It's going to be nothing but sex and stuff. Yeah, there's sex and stuff in it, but it's a character movie. We see this kid who was just a fucking kid being kind of roped into this, world of porn, or if you will. And like I said, he just goes into this trip of drugs, and it just everything goes to his head, and he thinks he's the shit. And then Burt Reynolds tells him as he gets older, they look for younger, newer talent. So it's a really devastating movie to watch because it's just a guy that wanted to become famous and really wanted to be someone and be known and stuff. And, as he gets older and he starts spiraling more out of control, it's just he's starting to lose grips of reality. It's great. And okay. Let me try to think about it. Brian, what are your top 3 PTA movies?
Number 3. Crap.
Come on, Brian. At the top of your head, you got this.
All right, 3. Magnolia. Even though I don't love it, I still really like it a lot. Listen, the best thing about that movie is Tom Cruise. That's the best thing about that whole movie, in my opinion.
He's great in it, but it's just that is PTA's epic drama, and
it is, but it's not my favorite one.
Come on.
All right, number 2, Punch Drunk Love.
Okay.
And number 1, There Will Be Blood.
Interesting. Oh man, if I had to do a PTA list right now, I've battled back and forth on a lot of them as like my number 1 and my number 2. But I think, oh my God. Number 3, I go Punch Drunk Love. 2, Magnolia. 1, Boogie Nights. I think Boogie Nights is still my favorite one he's ever done. And that was the first one I was ever exposed to. Okay, look at PTA. He's the type of director to where he nails it on all levels. I'm talking writing, directing your actors to do stuff while directing a really good sequence with a great cinematography, a great score. Like, this guy's amazing at everything he does, and he's really infamous on his tracking shots. And Boogie Nights, that was the first time I was exposed to it, and I was like, this is really great, like, fluid cinematography. So, but then some days I'm just like, no, Magnolia is his best one. But then I really liked Inherent Vice. And then I really love The Master. Fuck! I don't know. Like, it changes every single day. But, yeah, my favorite Marky Mark movie always will and forever will be, unless he has something even better, Boogie Nights. And Brian's favorite is The Fighter. No one has commented on anything, so...
What about Worse? That's a tough one. Worst Mark Wahlberg movie.
Worse?
Yeah, we should do that at the end of every episode. Like, after we give our top 5, we should give our worst film of the actor, director, genre, whatever.
I mean, that's fine. I'm having a difficult time trying to narrow it down. I think if I had to give you 3, just right off the bat, Max Payne, Transformers 4, and The Happening.
Okay.
But like I said, The Happening is one of those ones where it's like super entertaining to where...
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I can't harp on it too much. So...
I already got my worst.
What is it?
It's Max Payne. Because...
Yeah, pretty bad.
Because I was such a big fan of the video game, still am. Max Payne 3, incredible. One of my favorite games of this decade so far. I didn't see when it came out. I saw it, I believe, like in 2011 after I played the first 2 Max Payne games. And I liked the fact that Mark Wahlberg was playing him because, I mean, I didn't really pay attention to the director because, well, I mean, he did Die Hard 5, which didn't come out until 2013. So I watched it and I'm like, what is he doing? This guy's ruining Max Payne. He's like ruining it. Like, it's ruining us fans. It's breaking our fans' heart. Like, that movie's just so bad. And unfortunately, it's one of the worst video game movies. Actually, well, to be quite honest, there really aren't many good video game movies. Hopefully Warcraft breaks that and becomes the first really good video game movie. But Max Payne is so bad. Like, I could have gone with, like, Planet of the Apes, the Tim Burton one. Broken City recently was crap with him and Russell Crowe. So bad. But Max Payne was just so... John Moore didn't even know what Max Payne was. He just made it his own thing, and it didn't have any elements from the video games. It basically ruined Max Payne's legacy. But then Max Payne 3 came out a few years later, and basically revamped the Max Payne franchise, if you call it. So, yeah, Max Payne is my worst Mark Wahlberg movie.
When I saw Max Payne in theaters, like, it was almost like if they took Sin City and they ran it through a meat grinder, and then you get the spirit, and then you ran the spirit and you regrinded it again, and then you get Max Payne. Like, it looked like a rip-off version of the spirit, and the spirit is a rip-off version of Sin City, so it's like, how did you stoop that low? Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the worst. Even though I can admit that some of the action sequences were pretty cool, it's just overall you don't remember anything from it, and it's just really forgettable. And it's kind of like another one that we forgot to mention, We Own the Night.
I never saw that.
It's very forgettable. And then another one that we forgot to mention was Payne and Gain. With the Rock.
So disappointed. What a disappointing movie. I thought it really could have been a decent movie, but it was just crap.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was
well, it wasn't awful. I didn't hate it, but it was disappointing. I was expecting something to be like really entertaining. Like, Wahlberg was so good to watch on screen, but like it's Michael Bay. It's him. He ruins every movie he does. Like Transformers 4. Like, oh.
But Payne and Gain is definitely a step up from Transformers 2, 3, and 4.
Absolutely. So, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so at least we got that in common. So, yeah, that's basically it for all of his movies. And he's done a couple others, but they're so old that like they're like TV movies. He did the movie Fear. I didn't see it, but I didn't see it either. I've seen clips of it, and like he goes crazy. Like,
Amanda loves that movie. She loves it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yep.
That would have been her number one.
Probably.
All right, so that's basically it. So we went over our honorable mentions, or top 5 of Marky Mark movies. I guess I realized I didn't do my impression that much.
Nah, you really didn't.
I think people are gonna be disappointed. So Brian, I want you to rapid fire at me. I want you to give me one of his movies, and I'll try to play his part.
Okay, you already did Boogie Nights, so that worked. Transformers 4.
Hey, Optimus, what are you doing over there? Hey, you fucking the 18-wheeler? Hey, don't be splurging all over the place, okay? Wear a condom, okay? Hey, Optimus, what are you doing over there?
The Departed. Come on, man.
Hey, Matt Damon, what are you doing over there? Hey, do you want to come over here and work with me? No? Okay, go fuck yourself, you rat fuck. Hey, Jack Nicholson, what are you doing over there? Hey, you under a bridge or something? Are you the bad guy? Well, I can't really fucking tell. Hey, say hi to your mother for me, okay? Hey, Leonardo DiCaprio. Hey, how's it going over there? Do you remember from the Basketball Diaries? We did drugs together. Now we're The Departed. And that's all I got.
All right.
Oh, it's so bad. Listen, Mark, I've said this from the beginning of time. If you ever watch my stuff, I don't hate you. In fact, I love you, okay? I think people that impersonate other people just have a deep love for them. Mark, I love your movies. Keep doing your thing. And I cannot wait to see Ted 2 tomorrow and have the podcast over that. So tune in for that as well. Brian, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Twitter at BrianSuds98, BryanSudz98, and on YouTube.com/Brian Sudfield. And that's it.
All right. So, his links for both of those will be in the description below. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Real Chase Lee. Facebook, Facebook.com/Real Reviews with Chase Lee. YouTube, it's YouTube.com/Shabunic75. You can subscribe to have more top 5 lists. Brian, what's next week's episode?
Next week is the top 5 films of the governor himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay.
So basically, it's gonna be an episode of nothing but trying to decipher like what we're saying. Like you're like trying to like decode it and shit. So bring your Morse code pad, because that's probably what it's gonna be. So yeah, Terminator Genesis comes out next Wednesday, and we're going to be doing top 5 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies for next Saturday on another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm Chase Lee.
And I'm Brian Sudfield.
That's damn right. So we will see you guys next week. Have a good day, good night, or whenever the hell you're listening to this. Spread this around, like it, give it to your friends, and tell them, listen, it's okay. We're all friends here. This is a good video. Okay, never mind. You can do whatever the hell you want. All right, I'll see you guys later.